She never thought her life would turn out this way. She had never imagined that the man she loved, the man she trusted with her whole heart, would one day plot to kill her. Her name is Benita. She was just an ordinary girl full of dreams and a heart wide open to love. She believed in happy endings and forever after. So when Frank came into her life, she believed he was her forever. The first day she had seen him didn't seem promising. The hot sun that afternoon shone like it had a personal grudge against her. She was standing outside the campus library, waiting for a friend when he walked by. He wasn't just handsome, there was something about him that commanded attention. The way he carried himself, the easy confidence of his stride, the half smile that played on his lips as though he knew a secret no one else did. He had walked towards her and had called her out, but one thing she never expected was the butterflies that sang in her lower belly. Their discussion after that day was casual at first, then grew deeper. He had a way of making her feel like the only person who mattered in the world. He always listened to her, or maybe pretended to. He asked questions that made her reflect. He wanted to know about her dreams, her fears, her childhood, and little by little, he peeled off the layers of her life she never knew existed. And that was how she convinced herself that he was her safe space. Every message from him lit up her world. Every date they had ushered her into a feeling she never wished to come to an end. She craved a future with him while he dug her grave. If only she knew that sometimes the sweetest promises are traps carefully wrapped in ribbons of affection, she would have turned another path the first day he approached her. Frank wasn't just charming. He calculated every step he made. He knew exactly what to say and when to say them. To her, it was a beautiful thing, but it was only a strategy to rope her in. Although he left traces for her to pick up, she drowned in her ocean of love for him. His constant temper, the need to be in control, and his aggressive argument, none of them made her think twice. She helplessly believed in the stories he had sold to her. If only she listened to her heart, she would have escaped his thorny nest, but death always had a way of deafening its victims. It happened too suddenly. One moment she was his happy forever after, but the coin soon flipped, and it flipped too fast. That morning in her hostel room, she had felt uneasy, nauseous, and weak. Her period was 2 weeks late, and fear was beginning to eat at her. Her hands trembled as she tore open the test strip in her hands behind the cracked bathroom door, hoping her body was reacting to something else. But heaven fell silent at her prayers. 2 lines appeared and confirmed her body was carrying another life. Her heart raced. Too many thoughts flew in, but they all found their way out of her heart when she remembered Frank. She was certain he would be happy she was carrying his child. The whole day, she rehearsed how she would tell Frank. She imagined his face lighting up with surprise, maybe shock at first, but then softening with responsibility. And then he would hug her and promise her they were in it together. But fate laughed loudly at those thoughts. That evening, she went to his apartment, her heart pounding against her chest as she stood before his door. His look would have discouraged her, or at least whispered something to her heart, but her eyes were too blind to notice. She let herself in, laughed awkwardly at his jokes, wondering how best she would let the cat out of the bag. She did, and in a twisted turn of fate, her end drew nearer. Frank's voice was cold. "You can't keep the child. Get rid of it." She tried to argue, to talk things out with him, but the monster in him was already gearing up. He avoided her eyes. His voice carried a tone she had never heard. At that moment, she felt some crack inside her. The man she trusted and thought would protect her had suddenly become a stranger. She realized his carefully planned future was more important than her and the little being growing inside her. She walked home that night with heavy steps and a heavier heart. Her mind was a storm of questions, but one thing she knew for sure was that she wasn't going to get rid of her child, and she let him know. But that decision would cost her something more. The days that followed, they fought less and talked more, and everything felt anew. He had agreed to keep the child, and words wouldn't describe the relief that washed through her. That evening, he invited her over to have fun time with her. He had dropped petals of flowers to welcome her, lit up candles to set the mood, and placed 2 glass cups on table. He said he wanted them to mark a beginning of something new. Her heart leaped with joy, but his hands shook nervously whenever hers brushed his. Maybe that was the sign she needed to walk away, but she was too excited to notice. He carefully poured the drink into her glass and lifted his for a chair. They giggled as she swallowed the liquid while he barely touched his. All the while, he waited for something, and just when he was about to give up ever seeing the reaction, her head began to spin. She lost her balance and fell. He leaned back casually, his eyes glinting with evil. She tried to stand, but her legs refused to obey. He watched as she shook violently until her body gave way. Frank rose from his chair and moved slowly toward her. After he had felt her pulse, he snapped a finger. Her brother tiptoed into the living room, and together they carried her away. They dumped her somewhere in the dark and hauled a thick cloth over her. In a beautiful turn of event, her eyelids fluttered. Her fingers moved. She could hear passerbys, but was too weak to move. Fate decided to smile on her again. A man staggered towards her body and stumbled on her. Shocked, he pulled the thick cloth. Her face had grown pale while trickles of blood flowed down her legs. With a solemn call for help, others who passed by came to lift her up. She had lost the baby and her womb, but she got her life back. Now, all she wanted to do was make Frank rot in jail, and she wouldn't stop hunting him until justice is served.